Would improved funding for housing decrease the burden on hospitals?
Um, yes, I mean definitely. It's what we have found with people becoming housed is there is a drop. You know, obviously, there's a drop in their use of social services for people who are homeless, but there's also a drop. If we take a kind of a perspective of how much services they're using, there is a drop in hospitalizations. There is a drop in emergency room use, and then there's also a drop in contact with our justice and correctional systems. So there's offsets. There's savings there. Now, having said that, I think we've probably overestimated the savings because, part of if you look at it across the range of people who are homeless, there's a group of people that are, they would be super users of services, and we found this when we looked at this in the At Home Chez Soi project, which was testing housing first in 5 cities. We found that there were some outliers that were incredible users of services, but then the distribution was so wide. There was another group that were completely forgotten, and they hardly used any services. So that when even if you're going to help people with getting into housing and, kind of reshaping things in their life and finding some stability, that group of people that don't get anything, they're going to cost more. So what happens is it kind of meets in the middle. And even something like Housing First, the offsets, the cost offsets, when we do the kind of the cost benefit analysis, they don't completely pay for the program. But those of us who've done that research and who've done that kind of work, we don't do that kind of economic, counting to treat cancer or to treat heart disease. There's very expensive kind of healthcare interventions, and we support that. We support that as Canadians. Then why wouldn't you put out some money to get people out of homelessness, even if it ends up costing more than the drop in services that occur as a result of people getting into housing? So that's kind of our, many of us, our take on, the whole issue of cost offsets, which I should say do occur, as I said earlier. It's just they're not as great as we might think. And I think that have been probably oversold. And if you're a Malcolm Gladwell fan, there's the well-known, kind of chapter in one of his books, $1 Million Murray, who was an outlier. He was in Reno, Nevada, and he was a guy that used tons of services. That's why he was called $1 Million Murray. And the conclusion Gladwell has was, wow, if we got him into housing, we could save all that money. But it's more complicated than that, I guess, is what I'm saying.
For sure, and I liken that. I sit on a board of a local hospital, and the last 5 years of the Ministry of Health saying integration
Yes.
is going to save money. No, it's not. It'll make services better for folks because they'll have
Right.
one place to go. It will not save you money. We're telling you this. It won't save you money. And that kind of pounding, that idea that,
Yeah. No, it's
you know,
it's frustrating, eh?
yeah,
We have to come up with a business case. Think about it. We have to come up with a business case to bloody solve homelessness. I
I
mean,
know.